Welcome to the Laker Advantage Podcast, Insights and Sidebars with Dr. B. Well, Dr. Bullock, it's July, and it's been a pretty good summer so far.
It has been a really nice summer. I wish we'd have a little more rain, but overall, it's been a great summer, Kyle.
Absolutely. And this month, we're going to be talking about a topic that I think gets overlooked a lot, and that is incarcerated individuals and how Lakeland has been helping get them back on the right path, giving them something to work towards. How has Lakeland been helping those people in our community?
Lakeland College, Kyle, our overall vision for the institution is engaging minds and changing lives through the power of learning. And we believe that is important for every single individual within our district, within the state, within the country. And many people don't realize, but Lakeland College has been partnering with the Illinois Department of Corrections to provide education within the correctional centers for those offenders who are incarcerated since 1970. So we have been in this business, for 54 years. And it's something that we're really proud of. We started off with one facility that we served, and that was Vandalia Correctional Center back in 1970. And today we serve 23 adult facilities within the state of Illinois. And in an average year, we will see between 5,000 and 7,000 students coming through educational programming at Lakeland College. When you think about what we do to help them be successful, our goal is to work with the Illinois Department of Corrections to educate them in career fields where we know they can get gainful employment and become contributing citizens once they're released. Places such as, think about auto body, auto mechanics, construction trades, culinary, all these different areas where we give them a skill set and they come out and they become gainfully employed individuals and pay it forward to others.
What kind of a success rate do we see from this program?
We don't actually track individual students who graduate. By our contract, we're not able to do that. But I can tell you one of the things that we're really proud of is there was a study released about 8 years ago by the RAND Corporation. They studied correctional education across the nation. And what the study found was that those individuals who go through some type of a vocational education while they're incarcerated, that reduces recidivism by almost 50%. And what that means is if they're moving on to education and they use that skill set when they get out, they're 50% less likely to reoffend and become reincarcerated. And that is such a great thing for our communities, for our state, for so many different reasons.
You said we've had a deal with the Illinois Department of Corrections for quite some time now. I hear that there's a new deal. What does that look like?
Well, our new agreement with the Illinois Department of Corrections, we're happy to say another 3-year agreement with the Illinois Department of Corrections to serve these 23 adult facilities. Again, they have been such a strong partner with us. They recognize the value of education to these citizens of our state and recognize the impact of these individuals being educated and coming out. And again, not only to the reduction of recidivism, but to the gain of our communities who need employees in so many different vocational fields. So that agreement, again, for another 3 years, we'll be partners with the Illinois Department of Corrections. And I'm hopeful that beyond that 3 years, we'll continue to be partners with them.
What kind of experiences have you come across with these students who have gone through these programs and then maybe moved on to something a little bit bigger and better?
There's a number of things that kind of strike me. I want to share a story from about 7-8 years ago while I was at a correctional facility. And I want to share the impact of what these programs mean to students. So it was at a commencement, and I usually give an address at the commencement, and we usually have students give addresses. So we had a student who gave an address, and it was remarkable. I mean, it was so touching and heartfelt. And when I talked with the students afterwards, and I try to go around and just ask, where do you want to go? What do you want to do when you complete this education and take this out into the real world? And there was a student who was telling me what they wanted to do, and he said, I really want to thank you and Lakeland College and the Department of Corrections for giving me this opportunity, because I know you don't have to do this. And I said, well, you're welcome. And he looked at me and he said, I don't think you understand what this means to me. He said, I have been incarcerated since I was 17. And this young man was probably in his mid-30s at that time. And he said to me, if I knew what education could do for me and the doors it could open when I was 17, I would never be in here. And that really struck profoundly to me, that what we're doing is helping individuals who have made bad choices in their life and not sentencing them to eternity of making bad choices, but giving them that opportunity to move themselves forward. So this was a young man who was close to release and was looking forward after that amount of time to taking this education and starting their life anew. And that's really what education is about, is providing that hope and that hand up, not a handout, but a hand up to bigger and better things.
And what can we look forward to moving into the future?
One of the things we try to do in partnership with the Department of Corrections is ensure that our programming is relevant to today's needs. It's not programming that stays stagnant. We make sure that the fields that we're training individuals for are fields, as I mentioned, that they can come out and get a job in that field and be gainfully employed and make a good living. And those fields change all the time. So we've added things like manufacturing skills training, where individuals can get trained in manufacturing. We've added programs in cabling, things like how do we help folks get into that IT world where they can go and learn how to pull electrical cable or electrical wiring and establish those systems in place for those entities. So we really try to focus on new and innovative programming skill sets. And I'm hoping that we continue that partnership with IDOC to be able to do that for those individuals who are incarcerated.
And how does this impact the families these individuals are a part of?
It's amazing to me how proud students are. I'll use another story of a student who I was presenting commencement. We were having commencement. I was presenting my address and afterwards talked to them. This was right before the Christmas holiday. And an individual came up to me to share with me how excited they were that their parents were coming to visit. And they said, and I get to show them when they come to visit that I'm a college graduate. After all that's gotten me in here, he said, I get to make them proud of me and show them that I was able to do something while I was here to make myself better. And that, you can't put a price on that ability for somebody to find that level of hope. Now, I do want to share one other story that to me was probably one of the most impactful Department of Corrections stories that I can share. And a number of months ago, I was in Chicago for a conference, and I was at a hotel with my wife, and we were in the lobby, and a young gentleman and his friend came in and said, hey, can you take a picture of us next to this beautiful art statue? And I said, of course I can. And the individual looked at me and said, I know you from somewhere. You look so familiar. And as we got to talking, he asked what I did, and I said, well, I'm president of Lakeland College in Mattoon, Illinois. And he said, that's where I know you from. I was a student at one of the correctional facilities, and you came to my commencement, and you told me that I could do whatever I wished to do with my life, that education was the key that would open the doors for me. And he said, I want you to know that I'm in Chicago today because I am enrolled in a program for my PhD. And my goal is to take my education and help create a better life for others. And that really touched me, that here's an individual who really may have been down on themselves and not had that level of hope. They took their education. They went from their associate degree with Lakeland College to their bachelor's degree to their master's degree, and we're now in the second year of a PhD program, studying criminal justice and hoping to help make improvements to the criminal justice system. That is remarkable. And again, it speaks to our vision of engaging minds and changing lives through the power of learning. And that's exactly what our programs have done, is help to change lives like this young man's.
How many facilities do we operate in?
We currently operate in 23 facilities, and we have about 160 staff members in those facilities, and that's their full-time job. They are either an associate dean, overseeing the facility, potentially administrative assistant, or we have a lot of teachers in those facilities, and they spend their time dedicated to teaching individuals a better way of life. So it is really a point of pride, not just for us as Lakeland College, but really it should be for our communities, because it's a tremendous use of taxpayer money. Individuals who go through programming, they get credit for the programming they're in. So not only does it help those individuals to get released sooner, but it also, again, by reducing recidivism, it keeps them from coming back. And so the cost savings to our state far exceeds what the cost would be for those individuals to participate in the programs. And again, that's a testament to the vision of the Illinois Department of Corrections, to see the value of investing in individuals while they need that hand up.
And what does a course look like for these students?
Oftentimes the courses typically would start about every 2 weeks. So they are what I would call open entry, open exit courses. So the students come in and they will start wherever they are in that module with the instructors until they complete the course. So it's really structured so that as individuals come into facilities or individuals get transferred to facilities, that they have the opportunity to continue their education or to start their education at whatever point that they're in. So it's been very innovative programming, and the programming has been so successful. Our deans work very closely with IDOC on curriculum, and we try to share that curriculum around the state. There are 2 other facilities in the state of Illinois. Danville Area Community College and Kaskaskia College also provide programming within correctional centers, and we work very closely with them as well to make sure all the curriculum aligns.
Is there any other insights or sidebars you'd like to add for this?
Not really, outside of just asking, do you know, Kyle, how to make the number 1 disappear?
Do I want to know?
I think you do want to know.
Fine.
Well, to make the number 1 disappear, you just add a G, and it's gone.
You know what? Oh, you almost got me there. That was almost good.
Did you say almost good?
Almost.
I am making advancements. Thank you. You've just made my day, Kyle.
Oh, I'm so thrilled. You've been listening to the Laker Advantage Podcast, Insights and Sidebars with Dr. B.